All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be getting started here, as you can see, in about 30 seconds. Now I'm doing one of these late night streams, so get ready. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here, and we are thankful to be here tonight on our stream. We want to talk to you guys about a video that I was sent, and let me pull up on my thing here real quick. All right, so I'm glad you guys are joining us tonight. I had to catch me a nap, kind of like when I got home, and I said, you know what, let me go ahead and do this stream tonight while it's on my mind, because sometimes I like to do streams when it's on my mind, right? So we got a video we're going to present, and the guy in the video, this is a video from 2015. There was a sister from the continent that sent me this video. I never seen it before, but I'm glad she sent it, because this guy really breaks down how the standard of living in North America and Europe is built completely off of Africa. Now, you remember when I made a statement and I said Africa doesn't need the world needs Africa. Remember I made that statement? Well, what this guy is going to say is really going to highlight that. And then, as you listen to this, I'm going to also talk about, people that have so much pride in this place and realize that the reason why you're living the way you're living as Black Americans is because of what they're doing to them over there, and how, some of you like to talk down on them, and because supposedly we're so much better, but we wouldn't have that standard of living. It wouldn't be for them, because they the one with the resources. We ain't got crap. So this video, the guy name is Henry Nichols. It took place at The Hague. Now, The Hague is the same place where the International Criminal Court is at. Now, this guy is an economist, and I'm going to play 3 different clips and break down, the few things that I want to show here. So in this first clip, he's going to talk about the raw materials that's on the continent. And I know a lot of people have been reaching out to me recently saying about a lot of things been going on in the Congo, and how, the West, Chinese, etc., is behind all the things that's happening in the Congo right now. What this guy is going to say, he's going to bring it home through that. So let me go ahead and play this first clip, and then we're going to come back and talk about this. So let me pull this up. Let's see here. I want to put it right there. All right, so here we go. If we can hear it.
Prosperity of the advanced countries. Okay, and Africa had a role to play. It has a role as a raw material producer. We will not allow sub-Saharan Africa to escape that. Okay, we do everything to keep sub-Saharan Africa where it is, also impoverished. It's absolutely vital for the prosperity of everyone else. So let's get clear about that. Okay, and this means all the economic structures, all the global institutions, and the economics we teach everyone is all designed to keep Africa exactly where it is. And whether it is Europe or US or now China, it's always the same. We need Africa to be impoverished, because we need those raw materials and we need them dirt cheap. Okay, so that's the message. It doesn't mean to say that there's nothing Africans can do. Of course there is. Okay, but this is the opposition that they're fighting. This is what it's about. Because if Africa does do something different, I assure you living standards of all those in Europe and North America and Asia is going to fall. Okay, and that is a big price to pay. I assure you that the West is not going to allow that without a big fight. Okay, so this is what it's fundamentally about. What I want to show you is how these structures are operating. It's just 20 minutes, so we can't do very much, but just to give you a little bit of an idea. And why I keep the ideology part there is because we are part of the producers of ideology. At universities and academic institutions, we are complicit in this whole enterprise. Okay, so the job of many Western academics is to convince Africans they have to keep doing what they're doing. Okay, and to show them it's your fault that you're poor. It's not our fault. It's your fault that you're poor. You know, so this is what we do in academic institutions, and I want to show that as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's break down that. So he said that they need the raw materials of the continent. They need it dirt cheap. He said that. He said that you heard that the whole standard of living that you see, all the facade that you see in Europe and in North America. In North America, we also, they're not definitely talking about Mexico because they didn't ruin Mexico. Call that what it is. If you read the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman, you know what they did in Latin America. That's why Mexico is a cartel hellhole. It just is. Let's call it what it is. It's sad because a lot of good people died down there that has nothing to do with it. But, you know, the West is the reason why it's like that. But when they say North America, he's talking about the United States and Canada. They're all in league with each other to make sure that the continent stay down. Now, you know, when you hear the term parasite, I don't know what the term to use. And the Chinese is part of this. Asia is part of this too. Everybody is living high off of the hog, off of the materials in the continent of Africa. And it's amazing how these same people hate Black people so much. And now you look at that particular conversation that they was having at The Hague 5 years ago. You see how they strategically have meetings to talk about what they're doing, why they're doing it, etc., to make sure that they can stay on top at the expense of Black folk. So when you go to some African nations that are worse off than others, understand they're the reason it's that way. We talking about the West. And I have a lot of African brothers and sisters that watch this channel. Like say it was an African sister that sent me this video. I don't understand how when these people show up in your countries, why are you smiling at them? I don't understand that. I don't understand why the majority of you isn't like Julius Malema in the EFF, or the majority of you aren't like our brother Professor PLO Lumumba in Kenya. I don't understand why you guys don't think like them. Those are the people that you need to be following on the African continent and start to think like them. Because when, you know, we see, and we've seen criticism, you know, definitely from some of our continental African brothers and sisters say, well, you know, you Black Americans, you know, you guys are, kind of hate and you guys don't like them like that. And we're not like you. Well, they're doing you worse, in my opinion. Just my opinion. They're doing you worse than they're doing us. I'm going to be real with you. Yes, we have suffered slavery. Yes, they owe us reparations. Yes, they have destroyed everything. And I'm going to get to us too, because everything he's going to say in these videos makes so much sense for us here, right? If they have meetings about what they're doing to Africa, you think they don't have meetings about what they're doing to Black America? Think about that. If their goal is to keep Africa in a perpetual impoverished state as a continent, right? Do you think that isn't their goal to keep us in a fifth class citizen status? Think about it. It don't matter how smart we are, how much we achieve. Why is it that we just cannot get to even where our ancestors were during Reconstruction? Think about that. These people purposely every year, even right here in America, have meetings, have strategies. We're doing the exact same thing. Economists, psychologists, etc. And a clear-cut strategy. Recently, I've seen that they played on Black Americans is the situation with Ice Cube. And I'll talk about that a little later, because that was embarrassing. And I literally saw how the Mzungu that's liberal, how much they really control Black people. I literally seen it in real time, how they control the majority of Black people. It was like scary how much they control y'all. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, how they got y'all to flip on your brother in 2 seconds because they told you to. That was sick. I'll just be honest with you. Y'all feel ashamed of yourself. Some of y'all was attacking Ice Cube. You should feel utterly ashamed of yourself because you don't listen to nothing and you do everything your liberal mommy and daddy tell you to do. And they the same ones that created that freaking crime bill. But we said we'll get to y'all later. So if they're having these meetings about how they gonna keep the African continent impoverished, those of you on the continent that may view this now or may view this later, you need to start thinking about that. Now, we're gonna play in the next clip. This guy gonna explain about why you guys can't have an industrial revolution in your country like other places, and why they don't want you producing nothing in your own countries. But let's get to that, because that's very important for you guys to hear as well. So let me get to the part I need to get to. Just give me a second, because I wrote all this down. I like to always come prepared, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to be playing videos and you guys don't like, oh my God, he ain't got his act together. So just give me 2 seconds. All right, we where we want to be.
As a percentage of the total. This is percentages of total production in sub-Saharan Africa. How much of it is accounted for by manufacturing? So this figure here is 17% of the total. Most of the rest, when we talk of industry, it includes manufacturing, but the bulk of it is mining. Okay? Raw material extraction. This is the bulk of it. And here we see actually raw material extraction has stayed the same. What has caused industry to fall is the fall in manufacturing production. This is deliberate because we will never, as Western economists, as Western policymakers, we cannot afford to allow Africa to industrialize and start producing manufactures. Okay, so we will do everything to stop that. And I'm going to show you how we actually block that. It's obvious in certain ways, but it's less obvious in other ways. Now, we have actually seen periods of rapid growth in sub-Saharan Africa, misleading people, saying, oh, you know, we're now doing much better. And this has happened recently. Recently, I've had students come and tell me, we've done much better now. And you can see growth rates rose quite sharply in recent times. Now are starting to go again down. But if you look historically, the same thing happened earlier. Why? Because in these two periods, we had East Asian rapid industrialization processes. So in the earlier period, we had Japan and Korea and Taiwan. Okay, rapid growth, sucking in raw materials from Africa, driving up the prices, and then sub-Saharan African countries grew. Exporting raw materials, they grew. But after those countries finished industrialization, then sub-Saharan African growth rate again fell. Okay, but along comes China, next wave. Okay, again, sub-Saharan African growth rises, but now China is going down. As many of you now know from the press, China is going down. But sub-Saharan Africa is going down even faster. And we're going to go back to where we were again, with very low prices of raw materials, very low growth rates, and again, the sorts of poverty that we saw once before. Because, bottom line, sub-Saharan Africa is condemned to this role. just the supplier of raw materials, not a manufacturer.
All right. So you heard what he said. He said that on the African continent, they have in their mind condemned you to poverty and condemned you just to be a supplier of their lifestyle. And I saw some people already in the chat being extremely ignorant. You know, we have some ignorant Black Americans. Oh my God, some of us are ignorant. Jesus Christ. So you had a ignoramus show up in the chat while that man was talking, saying, and you want us to go over there, you idiot. Your life here wouldn't even be where it's at. It wouldn't be for them. Have you realized that? That this man said if they just rise up just even a little bit, you're done here. You're doomed, literally. I mean, why are you taking pride in their suffering? You understand what I'm saying? Like, it makes me think a little different about unity. It makes me think a little different about how all of a sudden everybody's bickering about this nationality type of thing, like, and who is it benefiting at the end of the day? Because we having all this bickering back and forth among each other, having diaspora wars, but who's benefiting? Because I quite noticed that when last year more and more people started getting on a repatriation or even just back to Africa movement, and it was a lot of people doing that, and a lot of YouTubers, definitely through media, was pushing that, and a lot of people started going. We even took 30 people last year to the continent. That rarely happens, right? So all of a sudden, in toward the end of 2020, mid 2020, all these diaspora wars start happening. All of a sudden, everybody at each other's throats. Who that benefits at the end of the day? Who? You say, I'm my own group. Okay, fine, you and your own group. What does that produce? It'll produce anything. According to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said our unity is stronger than an atomic bomb. And these people know that. In order for these people to keep doing this, you have to stay not unified. And I'm talking about also you on the African continent as well. And, you know, Julius Malema says something so powerful about that. He says that, you know, you don't like him because he's from Zimbabwe. You don't like him because he's from Nigeria. You don't like him because he's from here. He's from there. He said, you're them, they're you. It is. And I see, that's one thing that we in Black America probably don't understand more than anything else, is that all y'all look the same. Y'all may speak different languages, maybe a few different customs, but to the world, all of you are Black. Why are you dividing over everybody Black? Like, how do you listen? If you line up a Ghanaian, a South African, a Nigerian, somebody from Rwanda, just line them up and tell the average person that's non-Black to say, hey, which one of them is Ghanaian? Which one of them is South African? They couldn't tell the difference. But one thing they could say is, oh, they all Black. They know that much. I mean, do you realize that people are benefiting off of you being not unified? Do you guys realize this on the continent and even here too, of course? Do you realize that? Do you realize even throughout the world that we're dividing about, well, you're not me, you're not from my lineage, you're not this, you're not that. Do you realize who's that benefiting? It's benefiting them folks. That's benefiting the Chinese. That's who that's benefiting. That's not benefiting Black people doing that. I mean, it's like we keeping up with the tribalism now. I mean, like, what has tribalism got Black folks worldwide? Look at the African continent. What has your tribalism gotten you? As you can see what these folks are doing, they love it. They love your not being unified. Because if you were unified, these people couldn't do this to you. They can sit up here and target you like that. Because if you're in Nigeria, you separate to yourself, I don't like them Ghanaians. You get what I'm saying? Or in Ghana, I don't like them Nigerians. Then the Mzungu like, oh, cool. I got them now, because now I can go do the same thing to each other, keep them fighting each other. I'll pay some money to some shucking and jiving coons in Nigeria and Ghana to keep the fighting going. I may give a little bit to some social media people in those countries to keep the fighting going. And now while you fighting, they're taking everything. They're taking the gold. They're taking everything from you. And you look up and say, why we don't have paved roads, but in America, they got all these paved roads. Why is in the UK, they have all these nice structures, but we don't have it in every single country. Maybe a few of them do, but why don't we have it in every country? Why is it that the country where the most white people are at, which is South Africa, like Johannesburg, is the most developed? Why? See, it's those questions you got to start asking and saying, like, what do we benefit off of tribalism? I mean, all of us, because I don't see a benefit. I don't. I think we need to deal with our sellouts. I think we need to deal with the shucking and jiving, Sambos. I believe we all need, no matter where they come from, we need to deal with them. Nobody should get a pass from that. But outside of that, what is the benefit? And we say, well, we separating ourselves because of this or that and the third. I get the guys are separating ourselves from these other groups that are non-black. I get that 100%. I get it, because they're using us, even in this country, to basically, they doing the same thing to us in this country like they're doing them in the continent. Everybody gets all they set asides in this country off of our backs, and we get nothing. We are just like them on the continent. Trust me, we are. We may have this a little bit better standard of living, some of us, not all, because I'll tell you this much. I've seen in my own eyes. Some of you in America are living no different than what I saw in the slum. I've seen it right here in America. So don't ever think we so brand new that we got it so much better than them. They keep us literally in the same position. You look in the Caribbean, the same position. They want to keep them. Don't want them to grow. Don't want them to have anything. Look at Haiti. Haiti defeated the French. They kicked their butt. And Haiti has suffered for it ever since. They make sure Haiti suffers. That's on purpose what they do to Haiti. See, we live it now in the time of exposure now. See, yes, this video was out 5 years ago, but now it's time for the exposure to happen. See, after the 400 years was up, if you notice, ever since the 400 years have been up, I don't know if you guys pay attention to that. Ever since the 400 years have been up, we have seen an acceleration of exposure. We have seen an acceleration of their decline. We have seen, our knowledge increase. You have seen literally the beauty standard of the world switch from the white woman to the black woman. You guys, if you're not paying attention to that, everybody, all these different groups of women want to look no different. They paying plastic surgery literally to go look like a black woman. Let's call it what it is. I don't know why black women don't call it out and say, wait a minute, we're the standard of beauty now. It switched from the white woman. Nobody wants to heralds no traditional looking white woman no more. Nobody did. I was sent a video on TikTok of this white woman literally doing makeup to make her lips look like a full lips, like a black woman would have. Like, why are they doing that? Like, nobody asked them to do that. It's because the beauty standard has switched and no one needed permission to switch it. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't know why more black women don't take pride in this. Say, look, we're the standard of beauty. Look, you sitting up there tanning yourself to look like us. You're trying to get our hairstyles. You're going to get plastic surgery to get the bodies that we have. I don't know why black women don't take pride in that. I know they don't like it because they're trying to colonize it. I get that. But you need to let them know the original, where it comes from, and call that out. But the beauty standard has changed. And I'm telling you, from 2020 to 2030, it's going to be so much of a huge paradigm shift in the world that you're like, what happened? Just globally to black people, and I'm not saying what happened in a bad way, because they got to deal with this, man. They've been doing this for hundreds of years, thousands of years. When I say thousands, but long time for sure. They've been doing this. Yeah, a couple of thousand, I guess you want to say, with some century, a couple of hundred centuries, I guess. They've been doing this for a long time. Okay. And it's all got to be exposed. So I'm presenting the information. We got one more part to show you. Is to say, okay, now we get the information. Now we see why it's dangerous to divide with each other. Why it's dangerous to allow this shucking and jiving Sambos to come among us, and those who are working with trying to assimilate into white supremacy. Why we have to deal with them, harshly. Don't let them have a voice. Call them out. Ridicule them. Okay, like y'all was trying to ridicule Ice Cube. Now, let me show you one more video of this guy here. And this is going to cover aid and why you have the leaders that you have on the African continent, why the leaders are doing what they're doing to the people, And there's only one way to actually counter what the Mzungus are doing. There's only one way, but I'm gonna let him say how they've been keeping the leaders corrupt. But if you see what's happening in Nigeria right now with the NSARS protest, that is the way to break that. Actually, it's through the grassroots. But let me play this last clip so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about here, how they get you, and how China comes into this too.
Structures. After colonization ended, we needed new structures to keep these countries where they were. Okay? And the first of those is aid. Okay? We give them aid. Aid for what? Actually, we give them aid to keep repressive regimes in power. That's all. Okay, we're not giving them aid for much more except a little bit of infrastructure to make sure those raw materials get to the ports and aren't gotten out of the ground. But for the most part, we give repressive regimes money and power and guns to keep that system going. This is what it's fundamentally about. All the hypocrisy about transparency and democracy and bullshit like that, it's all bullshit. You know? And at least the Chinese don't enter into that bullshit. They say, we don't care about the whole political environment, we just give the money. Okay? And it's for raw material extraction, period. Okay? Number two, and this was a very important one, still is debt. I was telling some of my students today, was it today or yesterday, about Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Do you remember this? Have any of you heard of this one? Confessions of an Economic Hitman. It's a book written by John Perkins, who used to work for a very nebulous, opaque bank. No one had ever heard of this bank, but it was formed in the 1950s by the IMF, the CIA, and the American State Department. And it had only one job: to lend money to developing countries that were raw material producers in order to indebt them. Once you are in my debt, I control you. Okay? And this bank had 4,000 employees, but no one ever heard of this bank, you see. But it would go to country after country offering loans. And if the president did not accept the loan, they were killed. And he gives two examples of presidents who were killed when they did not accept the loan. You see, the lending is also very important to trap the country. It's very important. It's part of that process. I teach in Suriname. And Suriname in recent times had a huge foreign exchange reserve. So big they didn't need to borrow money. And then one of my students, who was very high up in government, he said, you know, the IMF is trying to convince us to borrow money from foreigners. Why? I thought, you know, sorry about this, but, you know, this is the game. And in the end, Suriname did borrow this money because the IMF said, if foreigners lend to you, then everyone will think Suriname is such a strong economy that foreigners are interested in lending to you. You understand? Before Lula came to power, you know, the previous president of Brazil, Cardoso, his predecessor, took a gigantic international loan. No necessity for taking the loan. Why? Because once I catch you with the debt strings, I hold you forever. You are my prisoner. Okay, so debt has been this huge spider's web which has trapped sub-Saharan Africa and keeps them held there. Aid, debt. We have a third structure which is again not known by many people, but it's something that was put in place and continues to this very day. with no one discussing it. No one says anything about it. It is monopoly buying structures. This is for all raw materials and basic agricultural goods produced by developing countries. There are only 4 or 5 Western multinationals that buy all those goods. And they collude between them. So if you take any major product, these Western multinationals, they collude between them. Even if we go down to banana production, we had a PhD down here at the ISS, and the person showed that the 4 or 5 major multinationals, they collude, and in order to make sure their control is total, what they do is they force all the producers to produce the same uniform banana. You know, the crap you buy in the West and has no taste at all. You go to any developing country, you know how a banana tastes, don't you? There's so many of them, lots of varieties, but we only market 1 or 2 types, so we have control, you see. If you don't produce at the price I want you to produce, I go to the next country. You see, we get control. So these buyers, they impose that control, and they keep pushing the prices down and down and down. Okay, this is the game. No one says anything about it. There are no commissions of inquiry to say this is illegal, what you're doing. The WTO has nothing to say about this. But sorry to say, you know, if banana prices rose 10 times, especially for people like me who love bananas, okay, I protest. I like my living standards. Okay? It's the same with all the other raw materials, you see. We're all benefiting, we're complicit. We're actually complicit in this because we will protest and shout out if the situation ever changed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that. So he said basically, you know, the West, they've been doing the debt trap loans way before China was doing them, but they would get involved in their politics. China came in and say, look, here's the money. We just want access to your materials. You don't have to have a pride parade or nothing like that in the African continent. You understand? Because remember Barack Obama in Kenya, he said, look, I'll give you some aid, but you got to let in the LGBT into Kenya. They're like, oh, hell no. We ain't keep your money. We don't need it. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you even look at Barack Obama, how he gave the green light on the killing of Muammar Gaddafi. Now, you know good and well, I thought about this one day. If Trump did that, y'all would have went insane in the continent of Africa and even here. We would have went insane if Donald Trump would have did, but because it was Barack Hussein Obama, and Gaddafi called him a son of Africa because his father was Kenyan, but culturally and in the mind, he was a white man. He was raised by white people. He knew nothing about the black experience at all. So he couldn't relate. And now again, what the Democrats are doing, bringing another so-called black person who don't have the black experience at all. Kamala Harris is more Indian in her mind. She's not a black woman in the mind. She just played that game like, oh, hey, 1 minute I want to be black. The next minute she's Indian with Mindy Kaling. You know what I'm saying? And Mindy Kaling is almost dark as me, the actress. If you watch that cooking show they done together. But this is what they have been doing. Now, they are the same everywhere they go. We're not going to just say, oh, they only done this to them and continue to do this to them. If you look at us here in America too, why is it that we're the only group specifically cannot get ahead? Like, why is it that we get so much education? We're making more money that some of our ancestors have ever made, right? And yet we are in a worse position than they are. All that is done by design. And I've broken that down, how even if we were paid reparations, these people's policies that they have, like you literally have to get rid of every policy they have. And they don't want Black Americans specifically in this country to get ahead. So they sit down and see what they do. The same thing they do on a continent is they say, okay, we put them in a state of poverty. They're going to beg to come over here. See, after the civil rights movement, that was a strategy too. They sat down with when they imported all these immigrants into this country. That was done by strategy. They sat down and planned that. Based off of what this guy is saying, they've been planning things. Because at one point in time, it was just Black Americans as the number one non-Mzungu group in this country, right? After the Civil Rights Movement and the signing of the 1965 immigration bill, they start importing people left and right into this country, especially people that was non-Mzungu. Okay. Do you know at one point in time prior to that bill, there was like a little over 700,000 Hispanics in this country? That was it. After that bill was signed and all the floodgates went open, now you got at least 11 to 12 million illegal immigrants, and the majority of them are Hispanic descent. Okay. That's done by design. Bringing people in and making sure they're part of the coon class out of the continent of Africa. See, that's what you guys don't understand too. And you talk about these people coming to this country and from the Caribbean and from the continent. If you're on the ground in these countries, you will know the United States do not give a visa to anybody. It is hard to get a visa to come here. Most of them that's coming here are attached to money in those countries, and that's their children or whoever. Okay. They're not going to let over the Julius Malemas and the EFF members into the U.S. They're going to let in the Cynthia Rivos. Understand? That's who they want over here. And then when they let in the Cynthia Rivos and the Loveys and all the different ones like that, that's part of that shucking and jiving, class. They start the diaspora wars and saying, oh, yeah, look, we better than you Black Americans or whatever. And then they're used to stir up more and more division and hate. But if you get on the ground in these countries, man, people are happy to see you when you get there. And most people that have these, opinions about Africans, oh, well, the Somalis come over here, Phil, and they don't even get around us. And they need to be called out for that. Y'all need to call them out. See, when Muhammad Noor had went through all that and they were like, yeah, man, you were Black then, call them out. Call out Ethiopians or whoever else is over here that's separating themselves. Nigerians, call them out and say this. Something happened to y'all, you on your own. I'm a firm believer that if you can't be a part of the complete Black community, don't call us out when the folks get at you. You on your own. Just like that situation with Jonathan Price. You're shucking and jiving, you on your own. I'm not supporting you. You got to separate yourself in America. Why? Why are you separating yourself? Who's that benefiting? You separating yourself. Okay, let's say you do have some resources. You don't want to share that with brothers and sisters here? You don't want to do business with brothers and sisters here? You don't want to do it with quote unquote your people? No, we got to put an end to that because that's not benefiting Black folks, especially in this country. It's not benefiting us. Either you on the team or you out. That's how I look at it. And trust me, them folks gonna circle around to y'all because they can deport you like this because, they can. Even if you're a naturalized citizen, they can get rid of it. But we have to pay attention to these things that these people are doing. Now, some people say, I already knew this. You didn't know in the depth the way this man was talking. You didn't know that. Stop. I mean, yes, you kind of knew, but no, you didn't fully knew. Now, when you look at other groups coming into this country and get ahead of Black America, that was all done by design. You look, let's go back in history to the time of Reconstruction. When Black people are out of the state of emotion, when you're not angry, when we're not fighting, when we can just be at peace, we're the most productive. Let's think about that. When the Union troops was protecting Black folks during Reconstruction for that certain amount of time, that's when we was the most productive. We built more businesses. We built whole towns, not a neighborhood. Think about it. We say we need to get, fix our neighborhoods. No, Black folks had towns, not neighborhoods. And Rosewood, Black Wall Street, all them, that wasn't the only towns. It was many of them. Where the New York Stock Exchange is at, that was a Black town. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we had actually towns all over the place because we were the builders. And they made sure to strip the builder out of us for the most part. They have conditioned us in this country as Black Americans to be dumb. Let's call it what it is. We reward ignorance. We reward that. Look, all you have to do is just get some plastic surgery and shake your booty and you're popular. Think about that. This is what we have in America. You be a man, you can just be a rapper. And you don't have to be a lyrical rapper. You could just repeat stupidity and you'll be great. They have literally promoted to break down our family, to put the most ignorant of the ignorant. Matter of fact, Joe Biden would rather talk with Cardi B than talking with Tamika Mallory. This is what these people have done to us here. You understand? All that has been done by design, people. They made a decision for only you to vote one way. You can't even have a mind to say, I'm going to be independent. See, I'm the independent brother. My votes are independent. I vote what's in my best interest personally and what's in the best interest of my community. That's how I vote. I'm not on no Republican. I'm not on no Democrat. I'm independent completely. Now let's get to our brother, Ice Cube. And let me rehash that. If you actually took the time to study the civil rights movement, you would know that Dr. King went to the Democrats and he went to the Republicans with civil rights. He didn't just go to the Democrats. Matter of fact, you talk about the racism of Donald Trump, and yes, we know that. But do you know Lyndon Johnson was just as racist as Donald Trump could be? This man said the N-word all the freaking time. He said that about black folks. And that racist dude, that racist Lyndon Johnson is the one that signed the Civil Rights Act. Because see, Dr. King understood, I don't have to like you. I don't care if you're racist. Look, listen, one thing you need to understand, this whole country is built on racism. Why do you want these people to like you? Why they have to? So what? I don't care what you say. Give me my stuff. Listen, if Donald Trump will say tomorrow, I'm ready to sign reparations today, what, you're not gonna take it? You wouldn't take it if Donald Trump signed it? Matter of fact, Donald Trump may be the guy to do it more than Biden would do. Why? Because Donald Trump's a narcissist, and you could play on somebody that has narcissist tendencies. You could tell them, hey, you know, you'll be the greatest president ever if you sign reparations. Think about it. It'll be Abraham Lincoln and Donald Trump. Think about it if you do that. Everybody, the whole world will give you a Nobel Peace Prize. So you can play all kinds of things on Donald Trump because of his narcissism. You can't do that with Biden. You can't play on narcissism with him because he's old. He is really hardcore, you know, in his thinking. Like, he ain't trying to give no black folks no reparation. You know, Kamala ain't trying to do it. If Indians from India don't get nothing. Y'all talk about politics, but y'all political. Y'all, so the number one thing about politics is you have to understand politics is business. In business, you don't go to one vendor. You go to 20, 30 vendors and see which one has the best price. Which one could you benefit the most out of? And what we have been doing politically is we have basically just been going to Democrats. And when you only go to one person, they know they got you. They treat you any kind of way. Defenses in business in America, we have monopoly laws, right? And they'll file antitrust suits. For instance, if Google was the only platform out there, Google could charge us through the nose, okay? But because there are other companies in which even Google, Facebook, Amazon, they talking about breaking them up because they have a monopoly on everything, right? They do that so people can compete. So if you don't have this, that's why the two-party system is dangerous in America for black people, because all you got is Democrat and Republican, even though they are other parties, but they crush those other parties in this country, whatever. But what I'm saying to black folks is this: responding. Listen, I saw in real time on Twitter how that Mzungu liberal literally got on y'all and told y'all to literally attack Ice Cube, a brother. If you knew his history, which I know his history, I ain't new to Ice Cube. Ice Cube is the F the police dude. Ice Cube is the America's Most Wanted with 3 Ks guy. Okay, he was the one that had the Nation of Islam protecting him. He was always cool with Farrakhan. It's like he's never been a sellout. You know what I'm saying? Lied on the brother. Didn't even like give him a chance to speak. They just lied on him. I say, well, let's hear what Cube got to say about the situation. He say he presented it, the contract of Black America, to Biden and them. They said, well, wait till after the election. Didn't even want to say, you know what, let's implement what you're talking about. Donald Trump and them reached out and they say, hey, we like to talk about that. Send it to us or whatever. Do you know Dr. Claude Anderson said Donald Trump reached out to him too? And he said that he, on Boys Walking Show, I saw it, he sent a letter about what could be done for Black America to Donald Trump. He said he didn't go up there because he didn't want to deal with the backlash from y'all. And Dr. Claude Anderson is solidified. And we actually listen to what he say and follow his model, right? We will be a whole lot further. This is the ignorance that I'm talking about that we have in Black America. And you let this Mzungu control you. And see, they control you because they have studied you. They know your trigger points. They know your psychology. They know that you have this thing about want to be liked and you got to like somebody instead of looking at what's good for you. They know this. They have studied us to the core. They have done that. Just much they have done this on the continent. So just much as they're holding them down and holding them back that way, they're holding us down and holding us back another way. But it's still the same thing. And then they were more disrespectful how they do it to us. At least they can let them think that they got a country going on sometime. Right? But what could change all of this? Unity. Unity could change all this. But let me say one thing about Ice Cube too. It just popped in my mind. For years, y'all used to talk about these Black celebrities. All they do is just want to do music and entertainment, but they never speak out. Okay, now they're starting to speak out, and now some people making videos talking about, well, they don't have the knowledge to be talking about anything, or entertainers shouldn't have a voice, and this. Well, let's call it what it is. You probably got triple PhDs, but you don't have a platform. Sure, you may be smarter than an Ice Cube. You're probably smarter than me, for sure. I never said I was the most smart guy in the room. But you know what? If you don't have the platform, Ice Cube have a bigger platform than you. Sorry, nobody's listening to you. They listen to him. You do better trying to get the knowledge that you have to him and let him go speak because he got the bigger platform. Sure, you may not like him. You may not even like me, but you don't have the platform. Call it what it is. I guess that's the perfect balance because some people, when they get a platform and they're too smart, they get egos. You know who I'm talking about. Their egos are through the roof. And that's why they can't accomplish crap. It's because their ego. Humble yourself a little bit. Bring yourself back down to planet Earth with the rest of us. You got to go with the platforms you have. I'm not going to complain when somebody got a bigger platform than me and trying to live and speak in the same language we're speaking. I'm not complaining on that. I'm like, go whoever. All right, do that. And if they don't have the knowledge, well, try to get the knowledge to them so they can go and express themselves the right way. Because you know what about Ice Cube? Ice Cube don't have to be putting himself in the line of fire for nobody. Let's call that what it is. Ice Cube got his money. He good. He ain't got to be dealing with y'all backlash and y'all talking about anything. He ain't got to do no contract with Black America or nothing with Black America. Ice Cube would say, what if he say, you know what, man, this is annoying. This is annoying. And the thing is, these Mzungu liberals, y'all got to put them in their place too. Y'all let them interject themselves into our business too much. Way more than that Mzungu conservative. They sit up here and get themselves involved in our business, talking all about what racism is and how we should do this and who we should follow. Like I said, I am hostile toward anybody coming into my family business, my personal family business, or my community family business. I'm hostile because these Mzungu liberals are the main reason why we've been held back. They're the reason that they're giving us this representation that like the Elijah Cummings of the world and John Lewis and Sheila Jackson Lee and all these other Black people in the Congressional Black Caucus. They're the ones that support it. They will sabotage anybody, because that's another thing. I've seen it with my own cousin, how they will sabotage anybody new coming in to keep them in that position. I've seen it. It's dirty how the liberals do when they want to protect them ones they got they claws in. Y'all need to get to that point where these people coming in and trying to listen. I don't care if it's a shucking and jive. I don't care if it's a Jesse Lee Peterson. You do not come in here telling me nothing about Jesse Lee Peterson. I'm just using him for example. You stay in your place with me. I would say something to Jesse Lee Peterson. It's my responsibility to talk to him. You don't come in here telling me nothing about him. Well, you shouldn't be around Jesse Lee. You shouldn't. Who are you to tell me or my community anything? You need to go deal with your issues and problems. Don't be dealing with ours. And see, y'all got to get in that. I'm on that show, Jesse Lee Peterson. I never forget that. I told that dude, that Mzungu, to stay in his place and go worry about his issues and problems. Y'all afraid to tell them that. They should not be commenting and telling you or me how to think, how to act, how to speak, who we should vote for, who we should support. They have no right to do that because they have not done right by us at all. They have not proven themselves worthy to even be listened to, because look at our position as Black Americans. If you don't let someone in your personal family come from the outside into family business, well, you got to think that way with the whole completely. And if they are going to talk, they better be in line. We will check our sellouts. We will go at them. We don't need you. We don't need you. We got it. And we have to, if people are talking about separating from other groups within the Black world, why don't you have that energy for that Mzungu liberal to keep them out of our business? Because they think about it, they stay in our business. They try to tell us how to think, tell us what we should be doing, telling us this, telling us that. No. Well, see, I don't allow it. Okay, I don't allow it. You can't get into my intricate family business like that. Like Malcolm X said, you want to help? No problem. There's many ways to donate. Help us continue the show. If you have a resource that we could use and you say, hey, I got this resource, go talk to this person. They can help you guys do this. Awesome. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. That's showing how you're an ally, because you're not an ally if you don't put your money up. But a true ally is not trying to take the lead, and a true ally is not trying to tell us what to do. They're not. The best thing you can do is donate. That's the best thing you can do. And let us do what we think we need to do as Black people. If you're concerned. But you cannot be speaking. You cannot be the voice. You can't be the leadership. We can't allow any more DJ Vlads where we're sitting up there running to their platforms and letting them, even on an entertainment level, we can't be doing that. Brothers, stop being thirsty for attention. Either build up your own platforms or go to Black platforms. I don't know what to tell you, but build your own. We can't be having no more DJ Vlad situations either, because I'm not mad at DJ Vlad about that. I'm not mad. I'm also mad at us, because Black folks is the one that got him with a 7-figure salary. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody use Black people for their life. People from India come into Black communities, put gas stations. Arabs put gas stations. And then the Arabs was enslaving Black folks before even the Mzungus. And yeah, we give them a pass. I don't know why they get a pass from Black folks at all. They was enslaving Black people before the Mzungu. The reason why the Mzungus got involved with the slave trade is because when they heard that the Arabs was getting Africans and making them slaves, they was the one delivering the first slaves to the Mzungus in Britain. And they say, well, shoot, man, we cut them out. We go down there and do it ourselves. We save some money. And they still doing slavery. And yet we sit up there and how we let them get a pass? What, because some of y'all, because of your religion? Man, forget that. Black folks created Islam. They didn't. So why are you giving them a pass? That kafala system they have, they literally have black women, they slaves and all kind of things in their countries. And we let them have a pass. We don't talk, they call us Abid, and Abid means slave. And yet we still go support their gas stations. We do all kind of things, man. Like, there's a lot of people living off of us worldwide. It's not just Africa, it's right here too. All these groups come step on our backs and get and live a better life than most black Americans live. And then these same groups look down at you and say, you lazy, you ain't did nothing. I've been here 5 years. I got more than you. Well, hell, if I had somebody to step on their back and every program they fought for, shoot, I would be somewhere too. That's why I like the now everybody's kind of cutting off these other groups from the discussion, because no, we can't be a footstool. Africans can't be a footstool for everybody. Now, how can we combat all this? Are we hearing from them? We can't just talk about it. We can't just say how bad it is. Ooh, you see, I knew. No, you can't see, I knew. The grassroots is the only thing that can defeat that. The grassroots, because the grassroots is more of a guerrilla style. Guerrilla is always better because the West can never deal with guerrilla. I've noticed that. You can look at their history. They cannot deal with guerrilla anything. They can't. And protests, and not just protests, but targeted boycotts, just doing guerrilla moves is so much better. And how you could, even in the continent of Africa, identify who these leaders are that's constantly selling you out. How is it that you got leaders in Nigeria? I think Juan Gale covered a story about that. Y'all is in the street fighting for 200 naira when somebody threw it out at y'all, but you got leaders with freaking Lamborghinis, Rolls Royce, and y'all fighting for naira. Is because these folks in the West and the Chinese are giving them all the money, and you're not having anything, but they're living in palaces. Y'all should identify these leaders, find out where they're at. The police, like in Nigeria, find out who they are, go to their freaking house. If they won't give you justice, go to their house in Nigeria. Y'all have to start going to those police houses. Y'all don't bring it to their doorstep. All you leaders, you need to go to their house in the African continent when they're not doing right by y'all. See, y'all don't show up. The young people now, they getting tired, and bravo to those young people in Nigeria. Bravo, because y'all doing what's right. Y'all gonna have to take y'all continent back. We in the diaspora can't do it for you. We cannot save you. We can come assist. We could help. We can bring knowledge, but we can't save you, because the majority of the problems on the continent, your government's got to do that. We can't come build your infrastructure. We can't do it. We don't have the money. We may have the knowledge. Your government's supposed to build your infrastructure. Your government's supposed to do your sewer system, your water system, your internet, your protection. That's all government right there. You have to be on your government to do what's right for you. I mean, and any black person in America thinking that we're going to just come over there and save the continent, that's not going to happen. I mean, LeBron James can go over there and save the whole continent. Sure, he can go set up some things over there. Sure, Akon can have a city. That's fine. But you're not going to save everybody. So what you can do to help is go establish a business, hire the locals. That's the one thing you can do to touch people right then and there, because they need jobs. But we can't save everybody. I mean, on the continent, you guys have to roll your sleeves up and fight, like the EFF in South Africa. They're fighting. You got to fight like them. I wish Julius Malema would open up a school for revolutionaries on the continent and have y'all go to this school and go replicate that in your countries. And take a stand against corruption, take a stand against the Chinese, the West, and say, no, y'all not going to live off of us anymore. Forget that. And say, we'll burn these resources down before you let you have it. You get what I'm saying? Trust me, they wouldn't want to see that. They'll cry. You start burning down those resources. Either you pay for the right price or none of us gonna have it. Watch how they start talking then. I mean, they said that they're condemn y'all to just basically being a resource whore. They want you with no roads. They want you to trash on the ground while they go back to their countries and they're living in luxury. I mean, this guy, like I said, I'm not mad at him because he's telling the truth. I like to hear the truth, no matter how harsh it is. We need the truth out here, ladies and gentlemen. As black folks, a lot of times we don't like to hear the truth, but we got to hear that truth for what it is. It's not about, and once again, I'm gonna repeat this. It's not about who you like, okay? It's not all the time about who you like, whether it's in politics, whether it's in business. We don't have to all like each other's personality, but we understand we have one common theme, one common goal. Let's join together for that. Take care of business and we can go our own separate way after that. No one's saying to get rid of your lineage. No one's saying get rid of your culture. No one's saying get rid of your language. Don't get rid of none of that. That's the beauty of black people. Unlike when Joe Biden lied and said the Hispanic community is diverse. We were more diverse than them. All the languages that we speak, what are you talking about? We're not diverse. Our culture is, and then, even when some people try to start these diaspora wars, try to say black Americans don't have no culture. BS. Our culture is the most dominant culture in the world, black American culture. What are you talking about? Everybody is mimicking our music on the continent too. Everybody is mimicking our looks, our dress, our lingo. What are you talking about? Don't ever let no shucking and jiving or whatever say that we don't have a culture as black Americans. Because you can look right on probably how they dressing and saying, oh, well, black American culture right there. You get what I'm saying? But you got them sellouts, that do that. It's ridiculous that we all can't, and yeah, sometimes you do have to call out the things that brothers and sisters are doing. And even though you calling out something the brothers and sisters are doing doesn't mean it's hate. You understand? Sometimes some of you say, well, why don't you guys talk in the background? You could talk to people in the background. They don't have to answer your email. They don't have to answer you. And the sad part, I'm going to tell you, the sad part is, and just what I can tell you, it's easier as a black man a lot of times to work with black women. I'm gonna tell you why. Because unfortunately, black men have this unhealthy competition that we have with each other that we don't even have with the Mzungu. I don't understand that. I would think that we would be probably more fierce with our competition with the Mzungu and work with our brothers. But a lot of times we don't want to work with each other, or if we do, we worry about the competition, worry about somebody taking our space. That's why you have little cliques and factions or whatever. I'm a firm believer of, and I'm glad I was this way. I said, listen, I can stand alone, and I can soar above to the heavens by myself. I don't have to do no. I just know I just do my purpose. Whenever the good Lord ready for me, he ready for me. But let me do my purpose. And I thank God that I'm the type of person I don't need people around me. That's why the lockdowns didn't bother me. Yes, I have my family, love my family, but some of y'all couldn't even deal with that, even if you had a family. The lockdowns. The lockdowns gave me so many different ideas. It was a beautiful thing. What I'm saying is we do need to unify, but the thing is we need to find like-minded people at the same time, because unfortunately, a lot of black folks is no good in the mind. They no good. They ignorant. They don't want to do what's right. They don't. The Mzungu got them just tore up, and you got to remember that guy on that video was saying that they the one that puts all they because they educating you, they're reinforcing that. They've been reinforcing that ignorance ever since elementary school. So it's not our fault per se while we're this ignorant, but since we come into the age of knowledge, then we need to get the knowledge, right? So we can progress as a people. So if anything, what I take away from this video is these people, like I said, they're what I said before. They the one need Africa. Africa doesn't need them. So for me, I would think unification would be more of a key, right, than before. Since we know they are invested in keeping black folks down worldwide. It's not just in Africa, but it's definitely us in this country. In the UK, they invest their time to keep black folks down. It's not a coincidence that no matter where we at, we're suffering the most, because that's done by design. The message is, whatever you do, do not allow the black man and woman to rise, no matter where they're living. Maybe some individuals, but not as a group. But even though they can say not to allow us to do it, once again, our unification is stronger than an atomic bomb. They could not stop us. Even J. Edgar Hoover said the greatest threat to national security was Negro unity. He said that. So that's why he invested his time to break black people up. Now they don't have to do something. Now they can just do it through trolling. You know, sometimes shutting the comment section off with certain conversations could be a good thing. And not allow, you know, unless you got great moderators who are just quick with the trigger, like say, hey, anybody that look like they're trolling or being anti-black or being, you know, against the program, get rid of them. Well, people should have an opinion. Listen, I'm a firm believer of this. I operate on a dictatorship, not a democracy when it comes to that. Why? Because you always talk about kings and queens. Well, kings and queens means one leader, right? It doesn't mean everybody got an opinion. I support opinions. Some opinions are great. But when you let too many people have an opinion, the wrong people start talking, and then they interject things that starts divisions. That's why I'm not for everybody just having a particular opinion on certain things to do. I'm just not. You say the government is looting in Nigeria? Well, take your country back. You know who's in control. You know who's the puppet masters behind your leaders. Take your country back. It's more good people in Nigeria than they are the leaders. You see the brothers and sisters in the streets, the young people. Take your country back. Even PLO Lumumba said that if Nigeria wakes up, Africa gonna wake up, because y'all got the biggest population out of a single nation. Wake up, Nigeria. Take your country back. You know how it is in the African continent. Once one country do it, it's a domino effect. Thank you, Great Black Shark. Thank you for blocking them. Just waking up and getting, you know, type of deal. And some of the things that we fight over, it's so silly. We got to focus. We have more things to worry about than some things that we fight over. But y'all on the continent, I'm gonna repeat this again. Stop with that. When these folks show up, you grinning from ear to ear. These people got y'all in the position that y'all in. This good dude said that. Stop thinking these people got money. They come to Dusty. Like I said, I saw him Dusty over there. I know Dusty when I see it. It don't matter what color you are. I know Dusty. Don't think these people got, listen, these people got money because they made sure to keep you poor. And you had that Mike Oliver guy in Kenya spreading all his plague of HIV to all those Kenyan women. And he didn't rape them. They willingly laid down with that man because they think, see, it's not because they love him or they have the attitude. No, they think that he got money. He maybe could take me away from here. That's why that happens. A broke, dusty Mzungu with a plague set up here spreading it to everybody. And he knew exactly what he was doing. This is why we need to connect together in the diaspora. We all need to connect together, and you know, they could teach us some things. We could teach them some things. We can work with each other, connect in business, work. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm on, at least. I'm not on with no division. I'm not trying to condemn people, you know, on the continent or whatever. Because this is another thing. Let me put this out here. Okay, I got to do it, and you can take it or leave it. As a Black American, you know the standard of living you used to, okay? You know most of us aren't rural people. Some of us are. But most of us don't go to the rural areas. We live in the city. How are you going to go from a city like Houston and talk about going into the rural area of Nigeria. That's not going to work. It's not going to work for you. You got to go to areas where you are used to. You have to find cities and areas based on going to a country multiple times, not just one time. Stop going to the African continent off of emotion. We got to get rid of emotion in the Black community. It's detrimental to us with this emotion. I'm going to move to the continent because of emotion. No, you don't even move down the street off of emotion. You go visit the continent multiple times. You go get, every time you go learn people. You go see what's the good of the where you want to be, what's the bad. You write down the notes of everything. After the trip, you compare, you make relationships, you find people who's reputable, people who, who's the movers and shakers in those cities, in those countries. You don't just uproot your life and go to the continent, and then now you're there and you're pissed off that it's not what you thought it was going to be because you didn't go enough times. That's why. You didn't build relationships. You just took what some YouTuber told you about, yeah, I help you out. Man, most of those YouTubers, I'm going to tell you, most YouTubers can't keep up with you like that because they're running their own businesses too. Unless their business is some sort of tour company or repatriation company or something like that. Okay. And even if you do go over there, they're not real estate agents. They're not immigration officers. They're not none of that. You need to go to these African countries as a Black America and go see it yourself. Not every African country is for you. I'm going to talk about me. You got some people going to some places like, I'm going to use Gambia, for instance. A lot of Black folks going to Gambia. Gambia wouldn't work out for me. The reason why Gambia wouldn't work out, I could visit, but I couldn't be there because I'm running business. I have to be in a country and city that has a great ease of business. Internet got to be fast. Infrastructure got to be right because I'm running business. I can't go from Houston and what we do here to certain places in Gambia, certain places in Ghana. No, I can't do that. I got to have what I have. It may be best for me to go to a Nairobi or a Kigali or a Dar es Salaam, right, in Tanzania, or Johannesburg, because the ease of business, the internet, the infrastructure, you have to do that. Now, if you leave in Atlanta and go to Johannesburg, that'd be more your speed. You can't go from Atlanta and used to that, and then now you're gonna go somewhere where, dog, man, the lights didn't went out. I mean, now some of you can deal with that, but I'm talking about the average Black American. You can deal with the hot water not being on. You can deal with some of the bug situation. And listen, I dealt with that the first time I went to Ethiopia, Mekelle. I mean, it's like I went to that. I say, why the hot water ain't hot? It took a minute for it to get there, unless you stayed in certain rooms. But when I got to Addis Ababa, they had the hot water at the Golden Tulip like this. The lights never went off. In Mekelle, the lights went off sometime 2 o'clock in the morning, about 20 minutes, and they come back on. But in America, if you're not used to that, or you're not going to get prepared for that, don't go over there unless you go to a place that have what you're used to. Which I mentioned that. Johannesburg, stuff like, what I'm saying, places like that. Kigali, Nairobi, certain places in Nairobi, like the Westlands, you know what I'm saying? Places where your internet is strong. I'm just trying to tell you, don't be going places where you're not living here in America. Now, if you come from the rural areas of America and go to the rural areas of the continent, hey, do your thing. But I don't like seeing videos of brothers and sisters trashing African nations because either you didn't do your research or like, how are you helping by trashing them? Like, seriously, you kind of doing the propaganda that white people normally would do, like showing the worst of the worst or talking about how horrible they are. Man, listen, everything that you guys are talking about, who's trashing these African countries, I find the same thing in America. America has a lot of poverty. Have you seen who the people live underneath the bridges here? We have homeless here too. We have people that don't have. We have people have drugs all over the place in here. They got some places, you talking about trash. I've seen trashy places here in America. They got places that look like a third world country in America. Don't go to some of these rural areas like in Kentucky and West Virginia and all these places some of these folks live. We can talk about that, how filthy some of these people live here. I mean, come on. There was a video I saw. They were showing about this one guy went to visit his family. That's all of them had their kids through incest. You should have seen how they live. My God, right here in America. Like, yes, we know now. We know that the reason certain places in the continent look a certain way. Okay, now we know the Mzungus is behind it. Okay, fine. If we know these problems, how can we help? How can we, like, okay, if we know the road is bad, what can we do to get some asphalt thrown down? Or anything, can we go get a rock the road up, at least something? Can we build a road up? Can we do, I mean, asphalt probably be the cheapest. Can we asphalt the road? What can we do instead of saying how people suck and saying how horrible it is and the animals and the weather? Listen, we're not helping, and we don't need to be propaganda for the Mzungu to use your videos to try to keep Black folks separated. If you're not going to go there and be the change, well, don't go over there. Don't. Those people do not need you to come from America and sound like a colonizer. And you talking about I'm helping them. You're not helping them talking crap about them. You know you're not helping them. Sorry. Oh, they're so poor. Okay. Did you give them a job so they can get out of poverty? Did you do that? Customer service, okay. Did you create a business and establish what customer service should be and have that standard? And then when people will see the standard that you have, maybe we'll start replicating your standard. You understand what I'm saying? Like, be the change. Because I can go and make videos all day criticizing us here in America too. How horrible do we look at this, look at that? Like, what is that going to do for Black people here in America? That I sit here and criticize them all day, talk horrible about them all freaking day. Or can I be the change? Black media should not be in the business of trash talking us as a norm or being harsh. Look, I'm going to be harsh on white supremacy because I know why some of those countries in the continent looking that way. I know the leaders is part of it too, and the people are kind of like putting hostage. And some of them have gotten in the mindset like, well, it is what it is. I just got to do what I got to do. I mean, we're not I'm saying we're not helping the African continent by trashing it. We're not. And if you go over there and you didn't research enough, you go over there and you can't rough it like some of them rough it, but don't do it. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm not roughing it. I got a business to run. I'm not going to rough it. I'm going to make sure I stay in a place where I'm doing my business like no different in here, and I live the way I live. Sorry, I'm not roughing it. And the majority of you not going to rough it either. So just don't do it. If you're not prepared. And if you can rough it, fine. I'm not against you. Some of y'all can go to the villages and God bless you. Please film it. I want to see it. I would even go to the village and visit with the brothers and sisters. But I'm going back to the city. I'm telling you how I am. I'm not a rural guy. I'm not. I'm a city guy. I come from a small town, but once I got a taste of the city, I refuse to be doing the small town life. I refuse to do the rural life. Nothing against that, though. God bless you on that. But me, I'm a city guy. I'm not going to be a city guy, go stay in a rural area, and get on YouTube complaining all day. I'm not going to do that because I know better. You got to do, I see what you say, Butterfly. You got to do what's best for you when it comes to the African continent. You got to do what's best for you. And if somebody say, well, you must be, you acting bougie. Okay, I earned it too. Only black folks say something like that. I don't see no other group calling somebody bougie because they earned enough to afford certain things. It's not no honor in being poor. Nobody wants to be poor. Why you think on the African continent, because what these Mzungus are constantly and the Chinese are doing to them, why do you think they want to get away? Not because they hate their countries. None of them hate their countries. They just want to say, man, I just want to get some bread. I need to get this bread. Now, trust me, those who getting bread over there, they ain't trying to come over here. That's how they just want to get their bread. You know, they want the roads, they want the bridges, they want the some of the skyscrapers, they want that same life too. And it's building up though. It is building up. I can't say it. Every time I go, it gets better and better. I trust me, I'm gonna go back here in a few months, and it's getting better and better. But I say we have to be the change. I'm not gonna go over there making videos condemning the country and condemning whatever. Like for what? Like for what? I mean, if I'm gonna do something, if I want to condemn something, like I said, I'm gonna condemn white supremacy. I'm gonna condemn the Chinese Communist Party. That's what I'm gonna condemn, because they the reason why it looks that way. I'm gonna, like I said, and even you got to be careful too. Some of you Black Americans in the continent, I'm gonna tell you that too. You're not in America. All that mouth that some of you have about talking about certain countries and talking about, don't even go talk about the leaders over there and the presidents. You may just get disappeared. I'm just telling you, other countries throughout the world don't have freedom of speech. Like you thinking that you gonna go to other countries and be talking like that? Be careful. Be careful. You are a guest. I know it's Africa, but you're still a guest. We are culturally different, and you got to know their laws. I'm just trying to be your brother and tell you. That's all. I'm just being your brother. Well, I know some people talking about, oh, it's a no. Like, listen, you ain't got true freedom of speech here. Say certain things. I can say something right now, and I can have them folks at my door. So we don't have no true freedom of speech here. Look at Nick Cannon. What happened to him? He had freedom of speech, did he? What happened to him? So don't say we got freedom of speech here. The only difference here versus over there is that you could talk about the leaders here. There's certain groups you can't talk about over here, and you know it. So do you really have freedom of speech? Like I said, look, I'm gonna support you all day long. But I'm not coming to fight those battles, like I said, because I'm not gonna be told that you don't really know why. Like, you're right, I don't. I said I'm gonna be the change. That's all I plan to do. Like I said, you need my assistance, I'm with you, brother. I'm with your sister. But you got to take that lead on that. I'm not coming in here to try to condemn leaders. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing it. But brothers and sisters, we've been a little while, and make sure you're talking about what about Rwanda. Listen, I tell anybody on the African continent, if you're there, leave the conversation about their leaders alone. Let continental Africans address their leaders, because they know how to do that, and you don't. You say you don't want to get jammed up, like that. But we're not going there to challenge their governments at all. We're going there to connect with the motherland, to heal, to establish business, to hire locals, to just integrate with the people. We're going there, like say to build too. I mean, those of us who's going to do that, okay? That's what we're going to go do. Like I said, if they need our assistance on anything, we will assist, but we cannot be the leaders of things that was going on way before we showed up. Just as much as you wouldn't want them to be the leaders of things that we're dealing with here. We the one have the history here, right? So it's the same thing. It's like when you go in another house, you gotta learn the game and the rules of how that's gonna work. That's all. I just don't want Black Americans getting caught up in Africa like that, because you can get caught up out there too. Don't think that, oh, I'm an American and nothing gonna happen to me. You know, good well, you Black American. This government don't protect you. Matter of fact, they can't even protect them folks like that. You know, I just saw recently the other day some Mzungus had almost got killed out there in Mexico, so they can't protect them out there. So like, don't go out there thinking we all Black and I can just come out there with my mouth. Because one thing I can tell you about continental Africans that I paid attention to, they're very sensitive about their country. See, we're not sensitive about this place because we aren't treated like we are citizens here. But they are different about their countries. So when you go over there in their countries talking crap about them, they know the issues in their countries. They know. They don't need you to kill the internet blasting that, right? Just be careful, because, you know, over there, people come see you in the continent. That's another thing y'all don't think about. People will come see you. You know, they got jungle justice out there too. I don't think you want that to happen to you. So just act accordingly. But people will check you in your mouth here in America too. You know, because I know some people in the comments, well, see, that's why I don't want to go. You mean to tell me people over here won't check you? You mean people won't show up at your doorstep here? People have gotten literally killed from beef from Facebook. I've covered the stories. So people will come see you about your mouth, whether it's here in America, Africa, or whatever. Just chill. Just be the change. That's the only thing I'm saying. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I thank you for joining us on the live stream. I greatly appreciate that. I just want to talk with you guys and try to put all the pertinent information. Those of you on the continent, please share this video. Share it, because people there need to know what's going on with these Mzungus. Because like I said, I don't like to see y'all grinning when these people show up, and I've seen it, okay? And I don't like it. I don't like it because I know what they have done to y'all. That's why I don't like it. Like I said, at one sister in Kenya, I was about to give her some money to get her away from that old Mzungu. But he got the drift, and I kept looking at him crazy. And like, you gonna move around or what? Don't do that in front of me. He moved around, you know. But like I tell people, when you get on the continent, they know that Black American energy. We have a different energy about us. And they know that. That's why they kind of say, just keep them away. Trust me. Listening to that guy, they don't want us going over there. They do not want us connecting, because they don't want us to go break that up. They don't want us to go stir up the grassroots over there to help teach the revolutionaries, like Memorandum 46, they keep the Black Power movement away from the African continent. They said that way back in the Jimmy Carter presidency, because they felt the Black Power movement was going to go spread in the African continent and it's going to cut them off of the resources. Yeah, because once they wake up, you're not going to make money off of them no more. So you got to keep them asleep. So trust me, all this repatriation to Africa, why do you think they've been covering it in the New York Times and Al Jazeera and France 24 and The Guardian and the Washington Post and all these Mzungu platforms been covering Black Americans specifically going to the continent? Why? What is the big news of us doing that? People go to Africa all the time. Why us specifically? You want to cover that? I don't get excited to see them covering that constantly, because to me, they're using that to give an alert to each other. Say, hey, wait a minute. We need to keep tabs on these Black Americans. Why they keep going over there? What's over there? Because it's quite funny that coronavirus happened, and then now everybody shut their borders down and it slowed that down. It was interesting, right? But that's not going to stop it whatsoever. Because we coming. Whether you like it or not, we coming. We're not going to announce how we coming, because I don't announce nothing. I don't tell you nothing I'm doing. I refuse to. But we coming. We all coming. We all going to make our mark. I'm telling you right now that we coming. More of us coming than what you think. And all the people who got the illusion about this place, they're going to wake up and they're going to eventually want to come too. That's why we have to be the people that go set up, build up. So when they want to come, we can say, hey, look, we got a place for you over here. Like, look, we got subdivisions here. We got Harriet Tubman Estates over here. You know, come man, look, a house costs this much. Come on, man. Come get your house out here with the people. You know what I'm saying? That's all. You know, because some people come late to the party. Some people now don't always get it at first. Because I didn't even get it at first. Right. And as you know, more and more this country squeezed the neck of people here, you know, think about it. If the Congo cut off the world from coltan, you won't have no iPhone. What would happen if they have a global iPhone shortage and the only place you can get a cell phone is over there? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have no resources here at all. So you'd be acting like we the greatest anything. We don't have crap. We got natural gas. We got plenty of that. We can't even use the coal too much anymore, but come on, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a good day. Let me say, it's your home. Well, that's how I look at it. When I go, I feel at home. I feel at peace. And even my wife said the same thing. It was the first time she went to Kenya, and she was sad that we couldn't go back in September to South Africa. She was sad. She's like, man, I wonder, because she loved going. So she just seen how much better it was over there. You heard what the dude said about the fruit. The fruit tastes so much better on the continent than here. Bananas is much sweeter. Apples, oranges is so much sweeter than here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're literally being robbed of good fruit from the continent over here. They sell, like you said, the one kind so they could monopolize something. Like, everything they do is about some money. But anyway, guys, thank you for listening, and see you.